The FIFA World Cup always feels like the biggest stage in football, where everything becomes unpredictable, emotions run high, and even the strongest teams can fall in shocking ways. For beginners trying to understand betting strategy around a tournament like this, the most important thing to realise right away is that it is not about easy wins or guaranteed predictions. The World Cup is designed by nature to be chaotic, and that is exactly what makes it fascinating. Strong teams arrive with pressure from entire nations. Underdogs come with nothing to lose, and matches can swing on a single moment, a single mistake, or a single flash of brilliance. To understand any form of betting thinking around a competition like this, you first need to understand the foundation of football probability. Every match is a balance between expectation and uncertainty. On paper, teams have ratings, rankings, and statistics that suggest how strong they are, but football is not played on paper. A team with 70% expected dominance can still lose if tactical decisions fail or if key players are injured or underperforming. That gap between expectation and reality is where risk lives, and where most beginners misunderstand the entire idea of predictions. A common mistake people make is believing that favourites are safe. In reality, favourites only mean more likely, not guaranteed. If a team has a 60% chance of winning, that still means there is a 40% chance of something else happening. Over a long tournament, those probabilities shift constantly, and surprises are not rare, they are part of the design. This is especially true in the World Cup, where group stage matches, knockout pressure, and travel conditions all affect performance. Another important concept is the emotional trap. Many beginners let their personal bias guide their thinking. They support a team because of a star player or because the team is popular, and then they assume that emotional support equals likelihood of victory. But football does not respond to sentiment. A team can have the best striker in the world and still struggle against a well-organised defensive side that plays with discipline and structure. Learning to separate emotional preference from analytical thinking is one of the most important mental skills when analysing any match outcome. Now, when people talk about strategy in a World Cup context, what they often really mean is understanding patterns. The tournament follows a rhythm. The group stage tends to produce more cautious football at first, especially in opening matches, because teams do not want to risk early elimination. That leads to tighter games, fewer goals in many cases, and more conservative playstyles. As the tournament progresses into knockout rounds, pressure increases and matches become more intense. One mistake can end a journey, so teams often become more defensive, even if they are naturally attacking sides. Another key idea is match context. Not all games are equal. A team that has already qualified from a group might rest key players in their final group match, which changes performance levels dramatically. A team fighting for survival might play with extreme urgency and intensity that does not reflect their normal ability. Understanding motivation levels is just as important as understanding skill levels. Then there is the concept of matchups. Football is not only about who is stronger overall, but about how styles interact. A possession-heavy team may struggle against a counter-attacking team that sits deep and waits for mistakes. A physically dominant team might overwhelm a technically skilled team if the game becomes fast and chaotic. These style clashes are often where surprises happen, because they break the illusion that rankings alone determine outcomes. When thinking about probability, it helps to imagine every match as a range of outcomes rather than a single result. A team might have a strong chance to win, but there is still a distribution of possible scenarios. Narrow wins, draws, unexpected losses, or even dominant performances. The more evenly matched two teams are, the wider that range becomes. That is why knockout football often feels unpredictable, because the margins are extremely small. Another overlooked factor is fatigue. World Cup tournaments are physically demanding. Players are coming from long club seasons, and recovery becomes a major issue. A team that looks strong on paper may struggle simply because their key players are not fully fresh. Small injuries, accumulated fatigue, and travel conditions can all influence performance more than people realise. Weather and environment also matter. Heat, humidity, altitude, and even pitch conditions can subtly influence how teams perform. Some teams are more adapted to certain climates, and that adaptation can slightly shift the balance of a match. While it may not completely change the expected outcome, it can reduce performance gaps between stronger and weaker teams. Now, one of the most important mental approaches is understanding variance. Even when analysis is correct, outcomes can still go wrong. This is because football contains randomness. A deflected shot, a referee decision, a red card, or a moment of individual brilliance can completely change a game. Beginners often think wrong predictions mean bad analysis, but in reality, even good analysis can lead to wrong outcomes because probability does not guarantee results in single events. This is why consistency matters more than individual results. The World Cup is not decided by one match in terms of understanding patterns. It is a collection of many matches where long-term reasoning becomes more reliable than short-term emotion. Professionals who analyse football focus on trends over time, not isolated surprises. Another important idea is avoiding overconfidence in big names. Traditional football powerhouses often carry reputation bias. People assume they will always perform at the highest level. But squads change, managers change, and football evolves quickly. Meanwhile, smaller nations often arrive with highly disciplined systems and strong team chemistry, which can make them extremely competitive even against bigger opponents. Team chemistry is often underestimated. A well-organised unit with clear tactics can outperform a group of individually talented players who lack coordination. This is especially visible in international tournaments, where players have limited time to train together. Unlike club football, national teams rely heavily on cohesion built in short preparation windows. When analysing matches in a World Cup setting, it is also important to consider tournament pressure. Some teams historically perform better under pressure, while others struggle when expectations are high. Mental strength plays a huge role. Players are representing entire countries, and that psychological weight can either elevate performance or create hesitation. Another layer of understanding comes from group dynamics. In group stages, goal difference and point systems matter, which can influence how aggressively teams approach games. Sometimes a team does not need to win by a large margin, so they manage the match carefully rather than pushing for risky attacking play. In knockout stages, however, there is no safety net, and this changes decision-making dramatically. One of the most misunderstood aspects is randomness in finishing. Scoring goals is one of the hardest things in football, and conversion rates fluctuate. A team can dominate possession, create multiple chances, and still fail to score due to poor finishing or excellent goalkeeping. This is why dominance in play does not always equal dominance in scoreline. Beginners often also overlook defensive discipline. While attacking highlights get more attention, many matches are decided by defensive structure, positioning, and error minimization. Teams that make fewer mistakes tend to survive longer in tournaments, even if they are not the most exciting to watch. Another concept worth understanding is momentum. Football is heavily influenced by psychological shifts during a match. A single goal can completely change the rhythm, forcing one team to attack more aggressively and leaving space for counterattacks. These momentum swings are often unpredictable and can make matches feel chaotic. As you follow a tournament like the World Cup, the best way to think about match outcomes is like interpreting probabilities under uncertainty, not trying to find certainty itself. There is no perfect prediction model that eliminates randomness. Instead, there are only better and worse ways of understanding information. It is also important to recognize the limits of data. Statistics help guide understanding, but they cannot capture everything. They do not fully account for human emotion, pressure, tactical surprises, or momentary brilliance. A player can have an average statistical profile and still become the hero of a match because of one extraordinary moment. The deeper truth about analysing football is that it is a blend of logic and unpredictability. Logic helps you understand structure, team strength, and patterns. Unpredictability reminds you that sport is not math alone. That tension between order and chaos is what makes the World Cup so compelling. Finally, the most important mindset is discipline in thinking. Avoid chasing certainty. Avoid assuming that past performance guarantees future outcomes. Avoid letting emotions override reasoning. And always remember that every match is its own story, shaped by countless small variables that no one can fully control. When you look at the World Cup through this lens, it becomes less about trying to win predictions and more about understanding how football actually works under extreme pressure. It becomes an exercise in patience, observation, and respect for uncertainty. And that is what separates casual assumptions from deeper analytical thinking about the game.